It's a story about a couple in Bnei Brak that their 8-year-old son was having terrible migraines. And day after day, the headaches, they didn't get worse, but they kept coming back. And finally, they decided that's not regular, and they went to a bunch of doctors, and the doctors that they went to said, you need to do major testing, because it's not normal that he should have this amount of migraines in such a short period of time. Check him out. Just check him out, see what's going on. So they did some testing, they had CAT scans, they did whatever they needed to do. The last day, or the last test that they were going to do, a doctor walks in and calls the parents out of the room. It was in a hospital, and calls them out of the room and says, I want to tell you that your son, Nebuch, your son has a brain tumor. And as an 8-year-old boy, it's very traumatic. It's traumatic for anyone. But this 8-year-old boy is going to need to understand what he's going to be going through to prepare him as much as you can prepare an 8-year-old boy. And it's a very dangerous procedure. It's located in a very difficult place, and it's going to be a serious surgery, and he's going to need chemo, he's going to need radiation because it's very huge. So they got the whole information. They walk back into the room, and they start talking to their son, 8-year-old boy, and they start explaining to him about the nausea, about the radiation, and how he's going to be sick, but Hashem's going to help. And they were discussing it with him. And they told him his hair's going to fall out. And as you know, Nebuch, when you see someone with cancer, it's not just that the hair falls out. It's noticeable how they're yellowish color and how their skin is like very, very it's just, you could tell that they've been through something. And his hair's going to fall out too. He's going to be sick. One of the doctors walks in and says, can we just talk with you more? Because we want to discuss with you what you should be doing for the next few days. They walk out and they look through the window and they're looking at their son, and they see their son went to the window by the hospital in their room, and he's talking. So they opened up the door a little bit to hear what he was saying. They overhear their son saying these words, talking to Hashem. And he says, Hashem, I heard what I have. My parents explained to me. They told me about the radiation and the chemo and the treatments and the nausea and the hair loss. But I ask you for one favor, Hashem. An 8-year-old boy, I'm ready to accept all of this. But I ask you for one favor, Hashem. Please let my payers remain. He had long payers. Let my payers remain. I'm willing to lose my hair. I'm willing to be sick. I'm willing to go through terrible suffering. But I ask you, please let my payers remain. This couple went to Reb Chaim Kanievsky with their son 6 months later, and they told Reb Chaim Kanievsky the story. And then they turned to their son and said, Rosh Hashiva, Gadol, this is our son. And look, a miracle happened for him. He lost all his hair, his eyebrows, everything, yet his payas still remained. Long and thick still remained. And Reb Chaim Kanievsky was so inspired and so inspired that he actually called his Rebbitzin in, and then he asked the Rebbitzin, could she call some of his sons that were living nearby, and he asked the family, can they stay for an extra few minutes, 10, 15 minutes, which they did. And he had all the children that were nearby. He brought them and some Einiklach, and he says, I want you to see this boy. Because you could see from this story what the Koach HaTfilah can do, that a person, normal things should not take place, but B'derech HaTeva, he should have lost his payas, but the Koach HaTfilah is so powerful that it stopped payas from falling out. And Reb Chaim gave this child the bracha, that you will not only survive, but you will live many, many years. And as the story goes, in the Sefer, the two Sefarim I saw, the story brought down that Reb Chaim actually was the sandik by a bris of this boy's marriage. A child of this boy, he got married and even had one child, and Reb Chaim was the sandik. So you see the Koach HaTfilah.